But that's not where the story begins. It begins in a small village, a shtetl, where there was a very generous man, very rich, very willing to invite guests to his home on the Sabbath, give them a meal, give them a place to sleep. But woe to any of those visitors that ever went to his house, because the truth was, this man was cruel. He was unkind. You see, he left the synagogue with them, he brought them to his house, opened the door, introduced them into the house, sat them at the head of the table, a mark of honor. But when the food would come, perhaps a tureen of fish, well, he would keep it for himself. He'd stick his fork in, pull out a piece of fish, take a piece and savor it, and then, smiling in a very cunning way, he began his cat and mouse game, where he would ply those guests with innumerable questions that, well, those poor wretches didn't even have a moment to be able to taste the food. And then, when all of the delicious food was almost all gone, well, he would look at them and, with again a smile, he would politely try to chastise them and say, "My good friend, you've talked and talked all evening. You didn't even taste the good food." Well, what were they to do? Out of politeness, they would simply say, "No, we enjoyed the company, but now we're tired." And each and every one of those guests, in their own time, would go to bed hungry, like a hypocrite. Now, rumors traveled in those days from village to village as travelers passed from shtetl to shtetl. And one day, the rumor came to Hershel of Ostrogol. He heard all about this man who maltreated all of these poor, unsuspecting travelers. And he got it in his head that he was going to travel. He was going to go to that very village, and he wanted to be a guest at that man's house. And so it came to be that on a Friday, he got to the man's house, he got to the synagogue, he introduced himself to the shams, the caretaker, and asked to be introduced to the very rich man. "Why do you want to be in the rich man's house? There's so many other people in our congregation I can introduce you to." But Hershel stood his ground. "No, that is the man I would like to be housed at. Could you make the arrangement?" The caretaker had no choice. Just before services, he made the introductions, and when services were over, well, there was Hershel, following the rich man all the way back to the man's home. The man opened the door, ushered Hershel in, seated him at the head of the table, a mark of honor. He introduced him to the servants, to his wife. And then, when that tureen of fish came in, well, it was placed right in front of the host. Hershel couldn't believe how wonderful that fish smelled. The man took his fork, put it into a piece, pulled it out, and began to eat as if he fell into a reverie and forgot all about Hershel. But then, the cunning game began. He began to ply the questions. "Uncle, tell me, from where do you come?" Hershel only wanted to have a piece of fish, threw out a name from the top of his head. "I come from Vishnetz." Well, when the man heard this, he said, "You come from Vishnetz? Well, then surely you know my good friend, Shia the miller. Tell me, how is he? What has he been up to?" Hershel was only thinking about the fish, nothing else. And he just repeated, "Shia the miller, oh, a nice man." He died, stood up, took his fork and his plate, reached over, jabbed a piece of fish, put it on his plate. Well, in the meantime, the man went pale. He put down his own fork. He was flabbergasted. He called for his wife. "Malki, Malki, Malki! Bad news out of Vishnitz. My good friend, Shia the miller, dead." "Oh, I wonder why he didn't let me know." You know, he had a fortune, that man. I wonder where he squirreled it away. And then he turned back to his guest. "Tell me, Uncle, what about Belleville?" Hershel Hershel was chewing on the succulent fish, he just blurted out, "Which Belleville? You know, Shia's eldest son. You know, the one who runs the Inn in Vichnetz. How is he doing?" Hershel swallowed the good fish that was in his mouth and said, "Of course. Shia's eldest son, Belleville, the one who runs the Inn in Vichnetz, he died too. Stood up, took his fork, and took another piece of fish, and went back to eating. Once again, the man screamed out for his wife, "Malki, Malki, Malki! More bad news out of Vichnetz! Did you hear? Belleville, Shia's eldest son, is dead. Oh, woe is me. He owed me 500 rubles. And then he turned back to his guest. "Tell me, uncle, if Belleville is no longer around, what about his partner, Yoshe the vintner? Is he running the Inn in Vichnetz?" Hershel shook his head. "No," with a very nasal drawl. "He died too. Stood up and took some more fish." The man was beside himself. He started to pound his hands upon the table and scream and yell like a lunatic. "Malki, Malki, Malki! More bad news out of Vichnetz! You'll never believe Yoshe the vintner, dead too! Oh, woe is me, woe is us! We'll never see our 500 rubles!" But he was screaming and yelling so much that the cook in the kitchen thought that it meant that the servants hadn't brought the food out quick enough. And as the man raved, out came the servants. They placed roast chicken on the table, roast potatoes, sweet noodle kikko it's called, noodle pudding, and nice warm challah. And Hershel saw an opportunity as this man was raving. He stood up with his plate and he put all sorts of food upon his plate, took a hunk of challah, and went back to eating, all the while smiling behind his beard. When the man finally gained his composure, he turned his body and faced his guest, Hershel, one more time. And with intrepidation he said, "Tell me, uncle, what about Avram?" Hershel swallowed what was in his mouth and looked up and said, "What Avram?" "You know, Shia's eldest brother, Avram, the dry goods merchant, the one who lives in that big, huge white house around by the lake. Oh, please tell me something good about sweet Avram." Hershel finished chewing on a piece of chicken. He swallowed it. He looked at his host and he said, "Of course, Avram. How could I forget the dry goods merchant? What a store! And that house, that big house like a palace around by the lake. He died too and went back to Well, now the man had steam coming from his ears. He was outraged. He got up out of his chair. He walked all the way to the other side of the table. And he looked right square in the eye to Hershel. He put his hands on his hips and he said, "Uncle, tell me, how is it possible that every single person that I have asked you about that I know lives in Vichnetz? You tell me here tonight at my Sabbath table, you say is dead. Explain yourself." Hershel was chewing on a chicken leg. He finished what he was eating. He put it down. He picked up the napkin from his lap and he dabbed the corners of his mouth and replaced the napkin on his lap, and then looked square in the eye to his host and says, "My good friend, my dear host, when I am surrounded by such delectable, delicious food and I begin to eat it, well, it's as if the whole world was dead to me." Now, my good friend, how is it that you've been talking and talking and talking all night long, and you yourself have not even had a chance to taste this very good food? You know, your gefilte fish is first rate, delish. And the roast chicken, well, I must tell you, it's even better than that that I've tasted at the Inn in Vichnetz.